This is a work of fiction. Okay. Alright, so we have Of the Devil. Now apparently this is akin to a game called Ace Attorney, which I have not actually played yet. I might do so in the future, who knows? And I kept on thinking to myself, would I need to play Ace Attorney in order to understand this game? And apparently you don't. So that's why I'm playing this first and not Ace Attorney first. I know that makes a bunch of sense, I know. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and do new case. Now, I think I'm about to play chapter 0, aka the prologue, and I'm gonna try and go through the prologue and see how I feel about the game as to if I want to continue with chapter 1 or not. Because, I mean, me personally, I don't necessarily mind point and click visual novel games, but when there's a bunch of reading involved, I've gotten to the point where it's not particularly to my taste as much now. I prefer things to be voice acted, so if this has a lot more voice acting involved, then that would be great. But if there's a lot more text reading involved, then I mean I'll manage, but once again we'll see how things go. So new case. Yep, okay, so episode 1, here we go. Okay, so I'm on the screen. Okay, so let's continue. So, what, continue? What? Okay, okay. Rain scissors off neon above me. Can I click to continue? Oh, I can click to continue apparently. The summer shower creates a noted uptick in the flickering of holograms down the street and the slight blunting of the night's ambience. Emphasis on slight. Lights, cameras, and constant noise. The city's got insomnia with the uneven heart rate to prove it. There's no escaping the second-hand nervous energy of it all, but I'm plenty acclim... That's a word I've never heard of. Also, immediately, I like the visuals of this. It does look very high-end with the graphics. So that's interesting. And I also kind of like the sort of fade-in effects with the scrolling text. Just a wave of worries cresting on the surface while I hold my breath deep below. Besides, a microdose of nightlife anxiety suits my mood just fine. Because if I'm not careful... This client of mine's gonna die in... Oh! I thought that this was our character, but I guess we're talking about this character. The client. Morgan. Criminal attorney. MCA. Better than the MCU. It's hard to get away from... Or I guess away with murder these days. People are still presumed innocent, at least on paper. But by the time they're in cuffs, there's hardly any shadows of doubt left. Because this whole world's lit up, mapped out, never unknown, and always online. Always indeed. As some people would say, chronically online. Whether it's incandescent, or neon, or hollow. Whether it's LCD, LED, or just the nearest D phone screen. There's light shining on every last pixel of the map. And someone's always watching. The Illuminati is always watching. Solitude is a rarity. Anonymity is scarce. And criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. So you take whatever clients you can get. You don't balk at public defender work, no matter the hour. And should you find yourself in one of the last dark, quiet corners left in the whole world, well, Smoke them if you got them. Right. I just realised. Wait, so is this me? Or is this the person that we're talking about that's the client in jail, but there's no... But I assume that this was the client in... Okay, so... Okay, so we're along this road, and this character, Morgan, us, I'm guessing, is along this wall. I guess I just assumed that as soon as the text popped up with client in jail, the character popped up, so which made me assume that this person that we're talking about is the client in jail, but it seems that's not the case. Okay. Not that there's much else I can do until my phone. Okay. Counselor, your public defender contract has been approved. You're expected at the 254th precinct. Present. Oh, I didn't even see the dot. You are expected at the 254th precinct. Present your ID at the door to enter. Arrive at least 15 minutes early. Absolutely, that's what I do every single time I go to like an appointment or an interview or anything like that. Just arrive this early. Aw, I'll try. Heart emoji. Well, it's not even an emoji, it's just text, but heart emoji, whatever. Looks like the paperwork came through. It's nearly 3:15. It's nearly 3:15 now, 90 minutes since I took the job. Okay. Probably makes it about 2 hours since they finally got smart enough to ask for a lawyer. If they're really smart, then I'll have used that time to get some rest. Because now that I'm here, things are going to get busy. Of the Devil, Episode 0. Blank. And he shall appear. Disable tutorials. You can turn them back on in settings. Oh, I can do a quick save. F5. Quick saving currently I guess, hang on. Escape phone. So, wait. Close phone. Settings. Okay, so yeah, we have a bunch of settings. Are we able to, like... Save? Save game. Can we? We can save. That is... Wait, can I? Delete save. Do you want to Yes. I know that I just saved. But still. Okay, so disable tutorials. I think I need tutorials because I'm stupid. Whoa. Yeah, but what exactly would the tutorials be on? Yeah, enable. Yeah, you sure. I mean, just give me more direction. Whoa. Precincts 254. This feels so futuristic. I love it already. But also, yeah, with the whole tutorials, as long as it gives me some direction as to like what the tutorials are for and about, like give me some sort of visuals, then I'll be fine with like the tutorials. Like I know what I'm looking for. But if you just give me a bunch of text telling me what to do for the next section, I'm not going to remember any of it. So they're not talking about the Danganronpa class trials. It's a goddamn ghost town. With nothing but a hologram for a welcoming party. I'm here about a homicide. High clearance rates be damned. You'd think they'd treat it with a little more gravitas. You'd think so, but... Or whatever. If I'm that unimportant, they've got no right to complain if I take my sweet time getting checked in. And I should take my time. Information's like cash in my line of work. You gotta spend it to make it. And if you're flat broke, no one will give a shit what you have to say. So let's see if I can't poke around and shake some change loose. Press the phone button or tap the phone icon in the top left to access the pause menu when you could load. I mean, I only saw save. I didn't. You can toggle on auto advance in text with the auto. Yeah, I don't really need that. Previous lines with the backlog. Okay, so that's always helpful. Look around for points of interest you can check to investigate the area. You will earn credit for investigating anything and everything you can. Credit is both a measure of your information gathering skills and your own credibility. So don't go broke. Go woke instead. Examine. Oh, this is weird. I mean, it's very similar to Danganronpa, but also weird. Also, wait, is there like a... Oh, there is a... Okay. Wait, terms. Wait, is this the terms and conditions? Holograms. Enabled by specialized projectors or mediums like conductive resin. We're sorry to see that you've installed a subroutine on this device to disable and highlight our recommended premium external links. Okay, well, that's very, very informative. Thank you very much. Wait. So, examine. The medium's cracked in the corner. The medium. Okay. Looks bad, but my phone's made of the same stuff. And I'm rolling the dice every time it falls off the sofa. Could probably null the warranty on one of these things with a loud sneeze. Gotta spend it to make it. Thank you very much. At least it's not broken entirely. Even at this hour, it's still dutifully scrolling through its notifications. Looks like the usual 1-to-1 ratio of public health alerts and inoffensive pop culture with trivia you always get served at state buildings. But there's a few missing persons too. 1 year of silver plan coverage, courtesy of as a reward for any. Silver's no joke. Family must be getting desperate. Alright. So I'm guessing the quick save still is not available, right? I hate you so much. Oh wow, I can just use my mouse in here. I've got to admit, this game does feel very, very high quality. And I do like it for that. It's just once again, I'm not a huge fan of the amount of text that you have to read. Like, I feel like I am obliged to read all of the text, because I feel like some people will get like, I don't know, mad or upset if I don't. But then again, so what? So what if I don't read all of the text? This is my playthrough, my experience. You're gonna get my experience, so shut up. Right, anyway, observe. An actual police lineup. It's like I walked into a museum. The museums tend to feel expensive and clean. God, I want to get a game that's like literally just a museum, just to walk around it. Even though that wouldn't really be a game, because there's no game play. It's going to be mostly interactive, so it's not really a game. Still would like one though. Dusty, forgotten, probably lots of unpacked boxes. Oh. Wait, why am I getting credits? I know that it told me that I'm getting credits, but I can't remember why I'm getting the credits. This homicide department is more like an attic. I believe they were ever so busy that they had witnesses making IDs in the lobby. And again, it's hard to believe that they were doing lineups in the first place. Are you certain? Wasn't it dark? Did you know that during traumatic events, memory formations, blah 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 blah, poking holes in their setup must have been like shitting fish in a barrel and all that, and all during billable hours. There's no room to sow doubt anymore when modded winners can just submit their testimony as video recording, assuming their phone didn't automatically file a police report for them. Sometimes I do feel like the information can be a bit obtuse. Sometimes. Read. A datapad? I'll buy it. Why, are you Pac-Man now? Even when they're more advertisement than article, they can still be informative. In a flowery, roundabout, corporate propaganda sort of way. Keep an eye out for articles in the environment they offer insight in the world around you and credit towards your invest. Oh, so I guess if I just interact with anything, then I'll get credits. Feels a little too easy. Articles are added to your phone's reading list after you first read them. Choose the proper takeaway after reading them and you will earn additional bonus credit too. Okay. One thing I get kind of annoyed about with games is how they just have a bunch of text. I mean, I don't have anything against how it's presented, but when you just have a bunch of text, it kind of takes away the immersion, because then you have to just, you know, take a second to just like read a bunch. I mean, I get it. It's, you know, visual novel. It's about reading. I get it. I guess I don't mind. Well, the thing is, I like point-and-click adventure games, but maybe it's just that I have tried visual novel games, and maybe I'm just not a fan of them as I am just, you know, normal point-and-click adventure games. Maybe that's the case. Maybe I prefer voice acting to just reading, like, everything. Ballsy of them, put in the paywall there. As if I'd stop praising now. Oh wow, I can literally just... Dude, this is high quality as fuck, what the fuck? You know what, I'd argue that this is a bit more high quality than Project Eden's card. That is, like, saying something, holy shit. As if I'd reach from my wallet after having to read a word like aesthetical. Besides, I got the gist of it. The takeaway is that the city will be focusing its efforts on... I'm guessing the game is relying on you haven't read the entire thing. I'm gonna say they cannot be. Choose the proper takeaway after media literate. Thanks? So if I chose the other thing, I would be media illiterate, right? That would feel like a bit of a cop-out, but okay, sure. There will be increased scrutiny surrounding the canopy now that there's no plan B. Oh, that's a artist. Song artist band thing. It's a massive project with a massive budget. Just like Hollywood. Lines the pockets of a lot of people, big and small. None of them would appreciate bad press at the moment, not when Councilman... I would admit, some of this game is a bit loud. Not when Councilman Long's already thoroughly chums the waters. And I like... Oh, whoa, what the... I can even use WASD to move this around? Oh, and even arrow keys? That's kind of dope. I mean, I think it just goes to show that it can be played on, like, consoles where you know, move the analog stick and it moves the cursor around, so that's pretty neat. What's this, I guess that's just me, like, searching around, right? Inspect the tape. High traffic hallways, utilitarian, vanishing multiple screening stations. Pragmatic brutalism, so textbook it could teach freshman level architecture. And can almost hear the building drone on and on about concrete and iron and hard right angles. The civil planning equivalents of battle scars. from a fight one so long ago that they're starting to look ridiculous. I'm sure it was all very imposing back when it was built. But walking in here now with crime rates where they... feels like a hospice ward for heavy-handedness. Alright, I've taken in all of the scenery. So even though we're not really... I mean, we are investigating, but we're not really... I couldn't even move on from this situation because I had to look at everything around here because it wanted me to. Okie dokie. Time to get checked in. Hi? Oh, this is the hologram from the... Okay. I visited it up just fine. So far so good. Good morning. Good morning, Morgan. Here for the public defender contract. Could you please provide your name and... Great, please stand still for a moment. I wouldn't call intake Hollow Shaman, more like harmless. That's probably what the designers were aiming for. People don't mind a quirk or two in their tech, so long as it never speaks out of turn. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble placing you. Could you please provide your name and date of birth? So far so good, was it? Just scan my face? Oh, wait. I hate that this actually just reminds me of the whole age verification recently. You know what? We're gonna end the game here. We're not gonna continue because this is dangerous. Don't scan your card, don't scan your face because it will be sent to a database and it will get leaked eventually. Alright, you know what? Just scan my face. Didn't you scan my face as soon as I walked in here? Yes. So don't you already know who I am? Yes. So the AI is literally fucking with me, okay. So the only reason you're asking is to see if I'll lie? Impersonating an officer of the court is a felony. Thank you for remaining vigilant. I thought I was going to say thank you for reminding me. Say, why don't you just, scan my ID card? Great. Now, could you just confirm your date of birth for me, please, you fucking bitch? Why did they even bother asking? My birthday's on the damn ID card and my fucking profile. I'd have to be a world-class airhead to get this question wrong. No problem. My birthday's... What? Wait, would it be on the phone? Profile. Morgan. December 26th. Okay, thank you very much. I'm glad it lets you open up the phone because I would have not been able to know what my date of birth is. So yeah, December 26th. Perfect. Good morning, Morgan Councillor. Thank you for your timely arrival and taking on this public defender contract. If you're ready to speak to your client, you can proceed to counselling quarter 3C. Is that what we're calling it now? You mean the interrogation room? I'm sorry to have caused any confusion. My vocabulary is regularly updated to better reflect state standards. Don't sweat it. I can't keep track of every new euphemism either. They could call it the involuntary wellness check-in if they like. Doesn't change the way it makes a person feel sitting in a cipher box of one-way panels. Nothing to see but their own reflection, dully warped across gunmetal walls. Morgan Councillor, can I help you with anything else? Choices that progress the story forward will cause other... Right. Choices that will take the conversation down side paths before returning to this point will not. Because of the article you read earlier, you've unlocked an additional choice in this dialogue. Reading and examine at every single possible opportunity possible to build up your knowledge and get the most out of every conversation. Why the... Oh, because right. Well, since I didn't actually properly read it myself, what are you? You're I thought this is sut. Smart you. So you're a Sui. Proudly sold by Noble Electronics. You're a Sui. Smart user interface. Thank you for asking. If you're interested, I could send you a link with information about our subscription packages. Should I send you a link with... No. Sorry. That was a mean question to ask. That was? Yeah, even I'm questioning that. No thanks. That'll be all, thank you. You find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office through the door to your right. Thank you. But I think it's just me for now. So you could go on break if you like. Automated dependents do not take breaks, modern counselor. Then what were you doing before I walked in? You'll find the counseling past our homicide detective's office. The door to your right, thank you. Ads don't get breaks, and they don't get my jokes. Ads. With 2 Ds. Okay? But it's usually the humorless types that are the most fun to mess with anyway. A cave opens. Oh, is that the music? Oh, okay. Eyes gone bad or something? A voice. Voices coming from down the hall. Compared to yours? Probably. Thank God I was stopping for directions. The building this empty, the desk could have just told me to follow the echoes. One voice sounds older, rougher, and decidedly low energy. Appreciate you reading about me. God forbid I try to be serious. While the other rings with youthful indignation. Not like our job is important or anything. Definitely cops. And at this precinct, at this hour, they might be the only 2 living, breathing people in the whole complex. Because why else would you bother to print all of that out anyway? 1 document or 100 looks the same on a datapad. Anytime you question a suspect, you need to have a heavy file in hand. Makes them think you know better than their priest, their mother, their big brother? I wasn't going to say that. So how many of those sheets were blank then? Ha! No red carpet tonight, officers? Oh, sorry about that, ma'am. We don't keep many extra hands around these hours. Probably faster to let the desk handle intake. Anyway. Faster to let the desk handle intake. But mostly cheaper. You the lawyer? I am. Morgan Esquire. Pleased to meet you. Wait, Morgan Wait, is that our surname? Okay. Same here, Castle. Kazim Lando. And a ball of sunshine here is my partner, Farah Reyes. Ball of sunshine? She certainly is. Huh? Sophie were kept waiting. Chatter between the departments has been hectic all night. Slow travel. Gave me some time to enjoy my cigarette. Cigarette? Like tobacco? What are you, 80? She can be more than a few years younger than me. We're detectives in charge of this particular case. And it looks like tonight we're also your humble guides to the illustrious homicide department. Apologies in advance for any cobwebs. Pretty sure I've seen this London character around the courthouses before. He never struck me as more than just some old-timer. but I suppose being an old-timer is an accomplishment in and of itself in his profession. Sunshine is definitely a new face though. Rigid in her posture and her attitude, 3 in the morning and her shirt still looks ironed. Freshly promoted, maybe. True hole detectives working at these hours? Sounds serious. Unless you were just the first to arrive on the scene? No, we're not nearly that timely uniforms. We're not nearly that timely uniforms responded to the within. I will admit, sometimes the dialogue seems weird to me, like how it's like structured. Because it seems like it's saying something, but then it's saying it in a weird way. And it's really, really messing with my brain. So, calls plural. Must have been quite the commotion. Look around. You think we're the first to arrive for anything? She's not wrong. We were only tapped after circumstances at this scene indicated involvement with an ongoing investigation. Our ongoing investigation. Not very subtle, is she? But I might as well bite at it at this point. So you suspect that this client of mine is involved in some separate criminal activity? Oh right, yeah, the client. Kind of forgot about that. Wait, did they really not? No, I guess they wouldn't put it in a public defender's briefing. Look, consider this a little professional courtesy, a fair warning, yeah? That's the heartbreak killer in that room. Whilst I do like the art style, it's a little bit difficult to determine what the shot is referring to. And we've got the bastard dead to rights. So if you're kind, you'll help him plead it out. And if you're smart, you'll pass this shitstorm on to some other night out and go back to bed. I'm not feeling particularly kind or smart at the moment. So perhaps in the meantime you'd be so polite as to fill me in about this heartbreak killer? I cover utilities at a rock you live under? Is there a problem? You're certainly not familiar with HK? Never heard of him. I've had enough of him for a lifetime. Their name has been plastered all over the city for weeks, their crimes wavering between breaking news and urban legend. Their presumed goals flip-flopping from unadulterated anarchy to unappreciated vigilantism. At street corners, in the middle, on the net. Everyone's indulging in the exact kind of armchair detective speculation that I can't stand. But right now I need to figure out exactly how much the police do or don't know. And when it comes to cops, I always get better results playing dumb than I do acting smart. I take he's a repeat offender. HK was already mentioned. I'll be honest, I have no idea what is happening right now. I have no idea what we're even talking about right now. I feel so lost right now. Was it the killer part that tipped you off? You must have at least heard about his MO. Media's gone crazy with it. Along with everyone else. One bullet straight through the heart, but left to die where it falls. Hence the name Heartbreak? I thought it was HK. Not exactly creative, but amidst the swirl of every other 100-word article out there catching us trumps originality. What you won't read about online is that all 6 of HK victims were shot by the same gun, without even needing to reload. Horrible to say, I know, but 6 for 6? That's pretty good shooting, isn't it? Hitting the bullseye at the shooting range is good shooting. Doing it 6 times in a row is great. But shooting 6 people with accuracy like that is a whole different beast. That's kind of Takes a certain kind of monster, a real freak. His pulse probably didn't even rise. I see. I mean, yeah, it sounds horrific. Pretty terrifying thought. I should really start paying more attention to the news. How I managed to miss 6 murders? Well, you can only blame yourself for missing 5. Pardon? You're still not getting it? HK's 6th victim was found a few hours ago. When we caught the son of a bitch red-handed. So you're convinced that my client is this heartbreak... HK. Okay, now I get it. And tonight was just his latest crime? That's a serious accusation with very serious consequences. I take it you have serious evidence to back that up. I was being literal, counsellor. Red. Oh, when we found your club. Right. He was covered in her blood. Well. That's not good, is it? What you say certainly sounds compelling. Kinda. Is that lawyer talk for open and shut? But even if that's the case, how does one crime scene make him look good for 6 murders? It's all there in the Discovery Files and the ARCs, of course. Join the local net on your phone and we'll turn over everything you need. I'll bet. Thanks for that, detective. I'll be sure to read it over. If it's still the same, could I ask you some questions while I've got you here? How kind of attorney wants to interrogate the detectives? This kind of attorney. You're just that pleasant. Come on, sunshine. Not like we're going to be punching out anytime soon, right? Whatever, let your clients do an interrogation all night for all I care. You mean the counselling quarters? Where you'll dispose of, counsellor? Right. Well, you know what? At least for now, I'm going to save my game, and I am going to call it for this part, at least this episode part, whatever. And I'll see you guys all for the next part. Alrighty, we are back to Of the Devil. Observe. Loose wires, missing panels, and aircon system that probably sweats more than the people it's supposed to cool. Wow. No room in the budget for making the coffee not look like shit, huh? I expected to find a lot of belt tightening at Homicide, but I didn't think their operation would be this bare bones. They've got a sudden clearance rate and they work fast. Guess the city sees that and just assumes their job is easy. Maybe their job is easy, or without the dirt in surveillance states eliminating so much of the footwork. But if your wheels don't squeak, you don't get your palms greased. So Homicide ends up as the only state department with a shrinking budget. A dumping grounds for the police force's most unambitious and least popular. Inspect. You shouldn't have cleaned up so much just for little old me, Detective London. Someone really needs to introduce this guy to a filing system. Or even just a stapler. Paper documents scattered about lazily, alongside actual photographs. Either he's really old-fashioned or really paranoid about data leaks. And he doesn't look like the paranoid type. Well, orderliness aside, some things are better in paper, I'll give them that. Oh my god, wait, hang on. Oh dear. Right, I think that's better. Okay, there was like tearing issues that I can always notice, but you may not be able to. I don't think it shows up in the video anyway, but inspect. Barren, stark, and uninviting. This must be your raised desk. Keeping your workstation neat and tidy is admirable, but I can't spot a single mote of personalization. Is she so new she hasn't had time to unpack? Or is she really that uptight and boring? both, maybe. Wait, what else is there to investigate? Read something. Oh, it just says read, okay. Latest noble androids receive a warm welcome. OMG. Hey fam, looks like you're not logged into this device. Want to put in your account info so we can help keep you reading? This actually feels like an actual article, because like the amount of articles I've been seeing on my Google feed, and I have to like log in and like, you know, pay just to keep on reading. I mean, I get it, but it's that annoying. Here's in the news again. It's no wonder can't spit without it landing on a piece of noble tech these days. So yeah, the article was about like noble androids and investors. Once again, it's like way too much for me to like read, and none of it is like that interesting anyway. So, especially not where the state's involved. Don't know if they'll bite when it comes to androids though. For government use, they're just too expensive. They're just too expensive to justify. Wait, am I thinking? Oh, wait, what am I thinking? No state's ever had a problem with spending money on overpriced crap. I think the character is having a go at me for choosing the wrong option. Whoops. Okay. Nothing else jumps out at me around here. Yeah, this is something that I kind of find a little bit of an issue with when it came to like Danganronpa though. You're not allowed to continue on until you've inspected every single thing. Although this usually happens when you're investigating. But it seems like I'm investigating everything already anyway. I'm not a huge fan of being restricted to one area, because I have to inspect everything before I move on. I'm not a huge fan of that. I've got a better idea of who I'm dealing with at least. I don't. If to get a better idea of who I'm dealing with is within that article, then yeah, fuck that. I'm not reading all of that. Fuck that. Now I need to check out the crime scene data. I should have been sent a link. Currently texting with state.system. What? What? Okay. The two state files regarding case that reply C to confirm. You need to reply C in order to confirm. Am I talking to a person here? I am an automated dependent. But why is my phone down here when? Okay, ads are usually more polite. Why are you adding a D though? Our personalities are tailored to suit our users' preferences. Okay. So the state likes you to be a little authoritarian. You need to reply C. I see. C, okay. It's case sensitive, of course it fucking is. Thank you. You're not fucking welcome. Oh, link Uxie. Okay. Alright, if I project from my phone. Augmented reality crime scene. Alright, let's see what the police have. And what they think is important. Okay. Examine the victim's body. Cause of death. Ballistic trauma. Class 4. Blood loss. Atrium and aorta. Aorta? Single gunshot wound to the heart. In brief, death was instantaneous. No injuries anywhere else, and no blood or skin under her nails. Blood spatter, forensics, and all of that other good stuff tells them she was not. Well, she was shot from there. So the killer was standing in the doorway when they fired. A stand-up mirror shattered and knocked over. Real glass, no screens or cameras. It was hit hard enough to come attached from its arm, while shards of glass were scattered, far enough to land on the victim's body. Damn, what a mess. Seems like this vase got tossed aside at some point, and yeah, there's not a scratch on it. Must be pretty damn durable. Isn't art supposed to be delicate? Maybe it's making a statement. Yeah, the fact that it's not been destroyed. Is that it? Oh, okay, now we've got here. The murder weapon and revolver found right next to the body. 6 empty casings found in each of the 6 chambers, meaning the gun's been fired 6 times. So, loss of all of the ammo, okay, damn. Looks like the crime scene techs practically disassembled the damn thing, but all they found were fingerprints belonging to my client. So he was found by the police with the murder weapon right in front of the body. I don't even know where to start. Highly prejudicial would be an understatement. That's all the big ticket items. What about security? Looks like the apartment was unlocked all night. It's not uncommon for people their age in a neighborhood like this, but no signs of forced entry only hurts my client's case. What about the rest of the room? There's not much else flagged here. Just a lounge chair that got thrown in. And whatever that is, it kind of looks like a knob. Well, as you know, it kind of looks like a bell. Maybe, something like that. Unidentified ceramic debris, UCD. Flag as irrelevant? That's their technical assessment. Guess even the crime scene techs weren't sure what to make of it. Okay, that's everything that the police highlighted. But did I miss anything? Wrap it up. No, my time is better spent elsewhere. I don't think I missed anything. Like, I thoroughly hovered over everything, and it seemed like I got everything, so... Now, this is all very incriminating, but the kicker's everything. That's not here. No out-of-place DNA, footprints, crumbs... Nothing that points towards anyone except my client. Well, I've done more with less before. But not much more, though. I'm really gonna have to sing for my supper this time. Better get a start. Who the hell's messaging me at this time of night? First person who comes to mind is... I suppose it could be something important. Red Brat. Unless my name is Red. What couldn't wait until morning? Good news, of course. Got a job for you. This is very... teen texting, or very... I wasn't saying minor texting, but even people of my age range sort of text like this. So it's very teen, young adult sort of texting. I mean, I don't really text like this. I mean, sometimes I do. Just sort of, I don't know, feel a bit relatable, but I don't text like this all the time. It's so funny how, like, our character is texting very, like, I don't want to say normal, but texting very in a formal-ish way. I mean, it's sort of informal, of course, but it looks formal, and yet Brat is texting very, 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 very informally. That's a pretty cheery way to tell me you violated parole. Well, not that kind of job. Besides, I've been covering my checks. This is something different. Kind of thing I can't handle with just a keyboard and fishing scheme, you know? I need you to sue my gym teacher at once. I'm not that kind of lawyer, sorry. Hey, at least let me finish. God damn. What did they do? Let me run laps. Not illegal. Let me finish. Let me run laps. Even though I said I had a stomachache. Said. Gotta be like youth endangerment or something like that. Depraved indifference or some kind of shit. Sounds like you've already got a strong case. Try self-representing this time. What's with the blow-up, man? Nice phrasing. Oh wow, I'm laughing so hard. My goodness me. Oh my goodness. The amount of, like, texting I see like this. I mean, obviously it's not bad. It's, you know, people will text however they want to text. It's just seeing it in a game like this, or seeing it in a game, it's just weird to me. See? Oh, you capitalized S, did you? Okay. Is that your mugshot? I wasn't gonna not get a copy of my mugshot and use it as react. Right. Very reactionary. Okie dokie. Glad you found a use case. I'm working right now, so anything cool? Homicide. Oh, cringe. So lame. Wait, what kind of homicide? Is it heartbreak killer? Is that the kind of morbid thing kids your age talk about? Teens, man. To be fair, I'm kind of like same thing-ish. I call these people kids who talk like this, even though they're, you know, they're teens. And yeah, we can read. Compared to the corrupt shit in the headlines. Old-fashioned murder like heartbreak killer is like quaint. It's not heartbreak. And why'd you take the job, lol? You see the 98% conviction rate as a challenge or something? You taking that bus course? Pro knows what? It's pro bono. What the fuck? I was correct. You know, they give lit homework for a reason, right? This is borderline concern nagging. Maybe you really are a bleeding heart. Or just a sucker. I'm not a sucker. Nice phrasing, lol. You should go to bed, Fran. I thought the name was Brat. I guess their real name is Fran. Tomorrow is Sunday, I can stab if I want. Tomorrow is Sunday. Because today is Saturday. Also the Carpe what? Carpe Diem. I have no idea what it is. It's nearly 4 AM, kid. You got to school in like 3 hours. Shit. Repeat offenders may be good for business, but that kid's bad for my blood pressure. Important text message, I'll take it. Just your typical teenage drama. So then, if you wouldn't mind filling me in on a few details. Oh, because I didn't read it much, we're gonna skip that. Heartbreak. Checking my phone here, I have to say. You've done a pretty admirable job keeping the details of Heartbreak's crimes a secret. The less reputable sites are doing some real journalistic acrobatics trying to piece together a story. Yeah, top 11 theories on who hurt HK was a real weighty read. There's a lot just journalists though. All kinds have been emboldened. The freaks that HK's managed to bring out of the woodwork in just a few weeks. Can you blame him though? I mean, he's a genuine serial killer. Repeat offenders in general are an endangered species, but he's gotten away with... We know what he's gotten away with. Take a look around us, detective. National DNA registry is robust enough that cases never go cold. Cameras on every street, a phone on every citizen, violent crime at an all-time low and clearance rates at all-time highs. But you got to spout some old bullshit about invasion of privacy? No, I'm not. People are safer now than at any other time in history, detectives. So when someone like Heartbreak does come along, good point, huh? London's trying to look like he can laugh it off. But pressure from the higher-ups must be reaching its peak. They want, maybe need, to see someone charged, and that makes them predictable. Right. Yeah, well, even if there's nothing stated about HK, Department SOP still dictates we stuff the media for case details. That way, when we do feed them, they're grateful for whatever scraps they get. But we can't take all the credit this time around. Homicide's tight-knit and tight-lipped, but it's not like there's much information for us to leak in the first place. And why's that? Because none of the shootings were caught on the opt-in crime surveillance system. How is that even possible? I know that there are some rough areas in the lower wards, but optics is watching every other street in the entire city. You're saying you haven't seen this killer on camera once? You think we'd have let him kill 6 people if we did? I understand your concern, ma'am, but optics is only what it says in the name. Private surveillance systems signing up to feed into the state's security network. It's not perfect, just another one of the many public safety tools in our belt. It's not meant to be perfect, it's meant to help us solve crimes. Or at least act as a deterrent. One would hope so. Bad chance, deterrents are for war rooms and board meetings. Anyone crazy or desperate enough to commit a crime in a city like this couldn't care less about anything as vague as the consequences of their actions. It's like a safety blanket, one of the very few holes left in it. But it does have holes. Patching up those remaining holes takes effort, and that effort usually means rebooting the system. There's all kinds of technical details and digital bureaucracy involved, but the end result is that there are occasional localized blackouts, and math used to schedule them is not impossible to predict. I see. But those windows of opportunity are small and short. Taking advantage of them requires specific knowledge. You'd need to be involved in law enforcement, pub data, or city planning. I didn't mention it if my client was a cop, and he wouldn't have needed a public defender either. His father says he's modded for heavy mass manipulation, not tech interfacing, so that just leaves city planning. So does he work construction for the city? HK's only ever struck at times and locations where optics would be down, even with the devil's own luck. Oh, finally, a mention of the devil. Of the devil. It can't possibly be coincidence. Wait, so you're saying when this woman was killed? Yeah, there was a blackout from around 8 to 9 tonight. On schedule, so to speak. And it included the area surrounding the victim's apartment. Well, what about DNA from the other crime scenes? Was my kind of match? There's been no blood, no saliva, no suspected DNA at any of the crime scenes. No footage, no forensics? Also no motives, tampering, witnesses. It's been like hunting a damn ghost. We didn't even have a murder weapon. Until now. Finally like a break for the boys in blue. Scanners, cams, drones, forensics, no matter how you dress it up with tech or detective work, relies on one basic assumption. People make mistakes. But Heartbreak's killer's the kind of monster who doesn't make mistakes. Only reason we caught him tonight was because he finished what he had set out to do all along. So was my client on the list of suspects before tonight? Weren't you fucking listening? There was no list of suspects. We questioned some executives, a few CIs, someone even spoke to one or two unlisted at some point. Nothing came of it. There was a talk about starting on some kind of psych eval or something, but I never expected much to come of that. There's just not enough there to work with. In other words, the only thing they could have to link my client to those killings is the murder weapon. If I can jostle that keystone, then the rest of their case should start to come loose as well. Details, sure. So how about the basics? What exactly has my client been charged with? Your client, Carlos Baca Flat, was arrested at... So, we've been talking about our client for so long, but not once have we been told who our client is. We've just been told that, our client is in prison. And that's basically it. Until now, we now know the name, Carlos. Which I just find it interesting how we're being told so much information about the client, but we're not told the most vital information about the client, as in who the client is. I mean, of course, we haven't even been introduced to the client yet, so it doesn't really matter that much, but even a name would be important information, so that we know who to refer to. Because I thought that the client was the serial killer, because, they were talking about the client and the serial killer at the same time, so I just thought they were one and the same, but apparently they're not. Or maybe they are. Who knows? Carlos Baca Flat was arrested on the scene at 9:50 PM. He's in his middle name already? Do they really do think he's a serial killer? Oh, so, okay. Carlos, I guess, is the client and the serial killer, so I guess I was right then. The charge being the first degree murder of his girlfriend, Diane Dawn. First degree? That's increasingly rare, to say the least. It's rare for us to get handed anything but crimes of passion around here. City's got damn near more cameras than people. So you gotta be really, really stupid to try and get away with murder. Well, Heartbreak's gotten away with it 6 times. So, what does that make him? 5 times. And that makes him insane. I was gonna go with extraordinary. Let's split the difference and say he's extraordinarily insane. But no jobs like that aren't renowned for their ability to think ahead. So what makes you think this was premeditated? How about the fact that he's stalked and killed 5 other women as a warm-up? A warm-up? 5 previous bullets, 5 precious victims. None of them knew each other, lived near each other, worked in the same fields. Weeks of digital autopsies crawling up and down their online profiles. Nothing. So this serial killer chose his victims at random? If they have nothing in common... Yeah, nothing in common at all. Other than that, they all look like cousins. The physical similarities are striking. All 5 prior victims were young women, with brown hair and eyes, about the same height, comparable weight. Well, those features aren't exactly uncommon. Couldn't it be a coincidence? If you really believe that, you should quit your job and stop buying a lot of tickets. HK's got himself a type. Anyone can see that. So that must... Is that Carlos? You really gonna try and tell me you don't see the resemblance? Oh, so this is the young woman, right, okay. Brown hair and brown eyes. Can't tell how tall she is from the portrait, but I can take the hint. So you think, what, exactly? That Carlos wanted to kill his girlfriend so badly he went out and shot 5 other women first? I mean, maybe to get experience? Hey, if the shoe fits. if the shoe fits, then you put the shoe on the... What Sunshine means is that it's not uncommon for killers to displace their violence from people close to them onto outlets with fewer consequences. Drifters, loners, strangers, workers. It was probably building up the nerve for tonight by practicing on these, as I said, for experience. I'm not saying that it's right, because it's for experience, but still for experience, possibly though. Or he's just so far gone they can't tell the difference anymore. Jesus Christ. It's not the worst theory in the world. But it doesn't fit. They want to claim that those precious victims were practice runs, dress rehearsals for tonight's main event. But if that were the case, there have been signs of hesitation, nerves. There'd have been mistakes, on top of which guns are impersonal. Execution shots even more so. There's no sadism or hatred or intimacy in a single bullet to the heart. Killing your girlfriend or her lookalikes usually is, if nothing else, a lot less sterile. If you ask me... Okay. Timeline. I saw the time of death was 9 PM on the autopsy, but do you have a timeline for the rest of the night's events? Can't trust much of what comes out of his mouth. But we've managed, thanks to less biased sources. And we're pretty confident about what we've been able to piece together from their statements. So they interviewed witnesses, huh? Sounds eerily similar to real police work. The suspect and his girlfriend were arguing loudly with one another starting around 8 PM. Neighbours were very clear about that part. Couldn't wait to tell us about all the happy couple's domestic problems. Everyone in the building knew they'd been fighting for weeks. As you probably gathered from what you saw in the arcs, there was a struggle. Furniture turned over, glass shattered, but things go quiet sometime before 9 PM. And then there's a gunshot. Scrubbers are still scrubbing. Scrubbers be scrubbing, looking for audio from the area to get a timestamp. But we heard from enough concerned citizens to be pretty damn sure about the time. Right. Emergency services got a burst of calls from the block shortly after 9 PM. No one seemed to recognize the sound for what it was. But the silence that followed was pretty universally alarming. Our officers arriving on the street at 9:08 PM establish a perimeter. Enter through the open front door at 9:10 PM. And then they find your client crashed over his head, dead girlfriend, and his hand covered in her blood. At which point they move to secure the scene and the suspect. Sorry, did you say his hand? Singular? Your client's modded cybernetic right arm. How modded are we talking about here? Registered with a Hayo 85 habilis. Industrial grade looks like. So these specs for dexterous manipulation of up to a class 4 KPA, which means a minimum grip strength of, well, basically, he could crush your neck without even gritting his teeth. Considering a career change? No, it's not that. It's just, your eyes must be very sensitive for you to put the patch back on each time. And here I thought you just had a 14-year-old's sense of fashion. Do you think a cop would cover up her dominant eye because it was fashionable? I just thought the same thing the first time we met. You what? Okay, I'm back on track. That arm of his has been in the shop for some time now. You can't work it out. Money got tight. The arguing? Yeah. When did he put his arm in for repairs? 8 days before our first victim was killed. Well, no chance they'll be willing to chalk that up to coincidence. Your client was arrested on the scene after a preliminary scan found his fingerprints on the revolver. And no one else's. A revolver? What kind? The old kind. The real old kind. More specifically, a caliber Right. Cover. How retro. You don't know half of it. We're talking steel chamber, real gunpowder, mechanical firing pin, and no tags. No tags? How's that? Just how old are we talking here? Yeah, 24/7 location data, timestamp, trigger pause, safety coded to the owner biometrics. For the past 3 decades, tags have made shooting crimes very unambiguous. So you're claiming my client used some kind of antique to commit these crimes? How else do you think he'd have gotten away with this 5 other times? An antique, huh? If he tried to buy a gun legit, he probably failed the very first psych check. And even jailbroken pieces are only good for so long before update withdrawal sets in. So then M54, that's model year 2054. A 30-year-old gun. Well, that sure complicates things, doesn't it? In some ways, sure. But pre-taking out firearms are rare. Gotta be less than 1,000 of them in the whole country, and fewer still compatible bullets. The ammunition would have to be over 30 years old too. The novelty of his weapon has kept us in the dark so far. But now that we have our hands on it, it's gonna put him away for good. Archive department complained loud as hell about how deep they had to dig. But with the protocols they found, the techs were able to match the rifle and marks and all 6 bullets to the gun your client was found with. Rifling marks? Bullets fired from guns that old and marked by the barrel's shape. So if all 6 bullets had the same rifling marks, we know that they were all fired by the same gun. It's not as plug and play as tags are, but it's equally precise science, I assure you. And if that's not damning enough, the spent casings from the other 5 shootings were still in the chamber, without even needing to reload. The caliber your client was found with is the gun HK used to kill 6 women. No way to lawyer around that. An untagged gun, just being anywhere near a weapon like that could warrant your arrest. Being found by the police over a dead body with an untagged gun used at 5 other crime scenes is just... To summarize then, you believe that my client fought verbally, then physically with his girlfriend, and then he retrieved this weapon and shot her? Yeah, pretty much. How did he look when the officers found him? Guilty. How was his effect? Quiet. Detached. Stiff. Not exactly the picture of a grieving partner. That reaction may have lost some points to the cops, but beyond that, people react to loss in all kinds of unusual ways. And so long as the police are suspicious of you, there's no right way to grieve. I guess we kind of have to... You know what? I'm gonna save my game here, and I'm just gonna say that whilst I do like how this game looks like visually, and I kinda like the music, but it's not really my type of music vibe to sort of get into. It feels very, detective-y, and I think that I'm not a fan of detective games that have a lot of information and plot. I like it when the characters interact with each other and have their sort of dynamic. But when you're just talking about a bunch of information that it kind of just goes past my head. And so whilst I do kind of like the vibe of this game a little bit, I don't think it's enough for me to continue playing the game. I mean, I was originally going to put this onto the main channel as a whole big video, but at this point I'm not sure if I'm going to do that now. Just because once again, I feel like I'm reading like everything. I'm not like sort of adding any sort of adding much commentary about it. I'm just reading everything, and I just feel like I'm not doing much. And I don't like feeling like I'm not really doing much, especially like in a video. I mean, that is why I'm doing these videos on this second channel, because at least I'm giving things a try, and if it doesn't work out, then, you know, it doesn't work out. But yeah, I'm glad I tried this game out. Okay, yes, I know it might take like a few more hours, but I feel like I need at least an hour or so in order for me to fully... If I don't vibe with the game, then I don't vibe with it. If I do, then absolutely awesome. But yeah, I just feel like I don't really vibe with the game all that much. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed in some way, shape, or form. And I will see you guys next time. Peace out.